And you're welcome back to the KANTAMANTO Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the KANTAMANTO Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our online news review with my co-host as usual. So let's get straight into it. Yes, Miriam and Clement, you are usually the information ministers. What's going on in the streets of Accra, Ghana, and the world as a whole?
Thank you very much, Ira. And a lot has been happening lately. I don't know why, but a lot has been happening in Ghana that we cannot talk about them like into details, and so we'll just touch on them and then move on. So the first has to do with yesterday, the sad news we had with our TV personality or journalist Kofi Adoma, CEO of Kofi TV. We heard that he has been shot in the eye and he's still in the hospital receiving treatment, but others have also alleged that it was just gunpowder,
that entered into
It is not anything serious, and so we are hoping that actually his wife came out to say that the husband is fine and he's still recovering, and so they'll address the public in due time. So that is what we heard yesterday, and yesterday we also heard that legendary Ghanaian music artist Teddy Osei of Osibisa fame had passed on, which was a very sad event that happened yesterday. We also heard in the news that Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traoré rejects IMF and World Bank loans, and he advocates for African self-reliance. And this is something that has got a lot of people talking, that why can't Ghana do same? Why can't our neighboring countries or other, similar countries like Ghana do same? And people are calling on our government to also adapt this behavior, and we'll all head to a self-reliance country. So these are some of, and I have one funny story that I would want to talk about. So it has to do with the ban of baby hairs in a country, and I'm looking for the story. I'm actually looking for. Okay. So Clement, let's hear your trending story.
Yeah. So as Mimi searched for that very story, let me take viewers to our presidency. I think that was last week. Our president-elect was formally inaugurated or sworn in as the president of the Republic of Ghana. And as he promised the people of Ghana that within 120 days, he'll carry on certain taxes. So that's what we are following closely to make sure that that very thing come to pass. As at Tuesday, he came out with a 10 list of nominated regional ministers, with the exception of six of them, that is Western Region, Western North, Bono Central, Bono East, and Upper East region. So these 6 regions, currently we don't have nominated regional ministers for them. Aside that, he has also come out with a list of national security, let's say, coordinators, because we have in the likes of COP retired Kofi Boakye as the general operation in the presidency that's relating to national security. We also have the former chief of staff being the head, that is the advisor to the president on issues of national security. So these are the few things happening in terms of presidency. And we currently, there was a news about Get Fund. Yes, we want to tell.
That, let me touch on the appointments of the regional ministers. And one of the ministers that a lot of people are happy about is that of the Ashanti regional minister, which is Dr. Frank Amwakohene. He's very popular on TikTok, and a lot of people are, commending the president for acknowledging the youth in his leadership. And when you look at the NDC, they are really, really activating the youth in their leadership. And I think it is a very good step, because the youth make up the majority of our numbers when it comes to voting and other things. And so if you get a lot of the youth leading, governance and other things, they are able to gather the youth and also bring up policies that align with the goals of the youth. So I think
that's very true.
it is something that a lot of people are also talking about. So Dr. Frank
Amakohene, yes,
Ashanti Regional
Minister nominated.
He was actually the Ashanti Regional Secretary for
General Secretary.
General
exactly.
Secretary.
So I think I even have the list here of the 10 regions and then the nominees. And so for Northern Region, we have Ali Adolf John. Oti Region, we have John Kwejo Japong, or Japong, the Ashantis, or the Akans. Then Volta, we have James Gunu. Then Eastern Region, we have Mrs. Rita Akosia Eje Awate. Then Northeast Region, we have Ibrahim Tia. Then Ashanti Region, we have Dr. Frank Amakohene, as you mentioned. Then for Upper East Region, we have Akumugri Donatus Atanga. Then we have Ahafo Region, we have Charity Gardner. Then Savannah Region, we have Salisube Awuribe. And for Greater Accra Region, we have Linda Oklu. These are the ministers, the regional ministers that have been nominated for these 10 regions. I think we are yet to hear about the six.
Yes,
the six remaining.
But one thing I just wanted to say before I go to the next trend, and happens to be the fact that we have 3 out of 10 are females that's nominated so far. So you could see the fact that the president is trying to bring in that inclusiveness of the females, the gender. He's trying to balance it. I know the person of the bill even makes a projection that in 2025, 2028, they want to see 30% of female in governance. So I think he's doing very well. The last story I just want to talk about is the fact that Get Fund postgraduate and undergraduate local scholarship application has been extended. Initially, the deadline was 15th January 2025, but now it has been extended to 31st January 2025. So our viewers who really want to go on postgraduate and undergraduate can actually apply through the scholarship portal of Get Fund. Yes, these are the trending stories.
So I found my story. So Chicago, hey. Okay, so I'm trying to get the name right. Okay, so let's hold on the story. My producer says let's hold on the story.
All right. Thank you so much for your trending story. So do you have any of your digitalized newspapers, stories, trending front page stories as well?
Yes, I have with me Daily Graphic, today's Daily Graphic. And so just as Clement said, we have the new security bosses named. The names are out, and also avoiding fuel shortages, WAPCO delays pipeline cleaning, and I think that story will be extended in our online news. And also elect MMDCEs on partisan lines. Experts advocate. So this is an advice coming from the experts to President John Dramani Mahama. As you know, I think a few days ago we saw that the appointments of these or contracts of these MMDCs have been scrapped off, and they are advising that he should elect the new ones on partisan lines. So that is what we have on the Daily Graphic, the front page of the Daily Graphic.
All right. Yes, Clemens, what about you?
Yeah, so this is a graphic business, and as you know, what has been trending of late happens to be the finance minister designate, that's Honorable Ato Forson. So the question is, he said from crisis to recovery, and people are still asking the question that can Forson plan rescue economy? So can what he has said so far rescue the economy? And also, when you go to page 2 of the graphic business, BOG warns of cyber security threats and also misinformation. So he said, in as much as the banking sector is performing well, there is still the threat of cybersecurity where people are taking people funds illegally. So these are issues, are things that our BOG governor is trying to tell us that the various banks and institutions should look at it very well so that customers will not end up losing huge sums of money.
All right. Thank you so much. So let's go quickly into the online news. So the very first one says, WAPCo reschedules maintenance works to February 3. So the West African Gas Pipeline Company Limited, WAPCo, has updated its schedule for the offshore pipeline cleaning and inspection, known as pigging, moving the start date from January 20 to February 3, 2025. Now, this 4-week exercise will temporarily halt reverse gas flow from Ghana's western region to Tema and shut down key facilities in Tema, Lomé, and Cotonou. So Lomé is in Togo and then Cotonou is in Benin. Then during this period, WAPCo will also replace subsea valves to improve safety. Now, this comprehensive exercise, required every 5 years, ensures safe operation of the West African gas pipeline and covers the entire infrastructure from Nigeria to Ghana. Now, the first phase was completed in December 2024, focusing on onshore sections in Nigeria. So it seems maybe they needed some more time to do some other deliberations and then move the date. So as long as these things will be done, I mean, it's maintenance works, and if maintenance is not undertaken for our pipelines and things like that, sometimes over some time they may not notice in time any small cracks or issues that may come up. So
but a lot of Ghanaians are also commending President John Dramani Mahama's administration for taking up this, because when he assumed power, a lot of people raised concerns of the fact that the energy sector was facing a huge crisis and were likely to face some form of load shedding or doomsday in the country. So people were, apprehensive about it. We were scared. We didn't know what was going to happen. And so they went into talks with the WAPCo, because they are also like a part of supplying energy to Ghana. Let me put it that way. So they also decided to embark on the activity of cleaning their pipelines. And I think the conversation was successful, and they had to extend the time to 2 weeks. Well, I'm coming from the point that if things like this will always be communicated earlier, a lot of people would have an information around what to do or how to plan their lives around these things. Because 2 weeks away from today, people that are going to be affected by this would know when they will have to probably charge their phones, coming down to our level, do anything that has to do with energy and other things. And we'll also get more time to buy enough fuel to, power our energy sector. So I think it is something that we have to commend the current administration for. The instant communication or delivery of information is something that, seriously, that is something that the previous government was lacking.
Exactly.
They never communicated issues to. By the time you realize we are out of power, you get it.
So. Mimi, that's so wonderful. But this story has a lot of things that's, let's say, the makeup of this story. Actually, when you read the story, you realize that the president, let's say the president, he's not president, sorry, the president of the Republic of Ghana, in his first day in office, faced a situation of energy crisis. That is when he was informed that Ghana is likely to go on low schedule, as you said, doomsday. So as a measure of urgency, you need to put up a technical team who would sit and see the solution way forward. So it was chaired by the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra. And in the meeting, that's when they brought on board the then Deputy Finance Minister and currently the Majority Leader, that is Honorable Atufosun on board. They brought on board Honorable Amakofibwa. They brought on board, I think, Jinapo was also on board, because they have to sit with the various stakeholders, the GRIDCO, the WAPCo, all those people, VRA, and they came together to solve the issue. What's the issue all about? In the year 2024, they were supposed to do this maintenance exercise in the month of October. So then the previous government met with WAPCo and all this agency, and they told them that sake of the issue happening, they should just push it forward. So they pushed it to, that was January 20th, that exercise is supposed to take place. So I believe if you have a meeting with me as a supplier of gas for you to power your terminal, and at the end of the day, after me pushing it to 20th, you couldn't make any provision. So my first point of contact, I would just want to put to our energy sector. Thanks to God that the president has elected or has nominated Energy Minister designate, Finance Minister designate, and also Attorney General Minister designate. Reason being that these people would, as soon as possible, solve this situation. But in as much as we move from February 3rd to, from January 20th to February 3rd, 2 weeks. Yeah. The question is, can we procure liquid fuel in this short possible time in order to fuel the terminal plants that we have? Because if you're unable to procure this fuel for it to get into Ghana within that possible time, then the doomsday will still happen. Because when WAPCo goes off, as Yaira told us, Tekradi gas pipeline will not be able to supply gas to Tema. Yeah. So the question is, would the energy sector be able to procure this? What happens during procurement? They can use a week for procurement processes. Delivery of crude oil from wherever it is to Ghana takes 3 weeks. When it comes to Ghana to Tema, it needs to go through what we call the testing process, of which that one also takes about 1 week to 2 weeks. So we are looking for a period of 4 to 5 weeks in order to solve this situation. Today's date is, I think, 16th. So if it have been postponed to 3rd of February, we have 16th to 3rd of February is just 3 weeks away. Yeah. And now we need a space of approximately 4 to 5 weeks. So the question is, if procurement has not been done when President came to office, and if there have not been any process for delivery, then it's likely that by the 3rd of February, we might not meet the target. And it's likely we are going to have possible load schedule. So this is the thing that I think government need to look at it very, very well. So do we have load shedding for gas as well? Because this is a gas pipeline. Yeah, so you see, when it comes to terminal plants, we need a gas to power the terminal plant. And that we generate electricity power so that we get the electricity that we need. We have so many forms of electricity that we enjoy. We have that of the gas, we have that of the hydro and all these forms. So the WAPCo is one of the major contributions, suppliers of our powers. So that is why when they go off, it means a higher percentage of supply is off. So they're just now going to rely on the hydro and other means. So they are looking for other alternative. And the other available alternative is supposed to be the liquid fuel. And importing liquid fuel to Ghana have to take a process of about 4 to 5 weeks. So the question is, if it has not been done, then within these few weeks, can it be done?
Well, I think what you are saying is right. You have a point, but I also think, as you stated earlier, when President assumed power, he was met with a shock, surprise. He didn't know this was, the pending issue that was awaiting him. So I think he has also made a step, a step, because this was supposed to happen.
Yes, way back 2024.
Get it, and so I think we should give him some time, but I would just advise that they should look into diversifying our energy, looking at other sources like the solar and, because come May what, it will still happen. We would have to go through the process because it's very important.
Yeah, let me say this last thing. I think in as much as they are looking for solution for this crisis, they should also hold people accountable. Because it was your duty. If now Ghana is in doomsday, then whoever who was the energy minister then, whoever who was part of that decision to postpone it to 20th of January should be held accountable. Because likely, sorry to say, he didn't think about us. Yes, he didn't think about us.
I'm sure more details about this will come up, and then we will get to the root as to why it's been postponed. So the next story here says, HALT reconstruction of KANTAMANTO market. This is by the Ghana National Fire Service. So due to inadequate fire safety precautions and a lack of consultation, the Ghana National Fire Service has voiced worries over traders continuing to rebuild the KANTAMANTO market. Now, on January 2, 2025, the market, a significant gathering place for used apparel in Accra, was completely destroyed by fire. Now, millions of Ghana cedis worth of goods and hundreds of stores were damaged in the fire, leaving businessmen and women eager to rebuild and go back into business as soon as possible. Now, to allow for adequate planning and the integration of safety systems and fire-resistant materials, as well as other considerations, the Ghana National Fire Service has recommended that the reconstruction process be put on hold. Well,
I'm happy that this story is coming up in our discussions, because when it happened, I think we were still, in recession.
Yeah. That was 2nd January.
Of course. it is a sad event that happened, and of course, it wasn't something that happened for the first time.
Yeah.
Apparently, for like the past 5 years, it has been happening, consistently every year. We experienced a fire outbreak in KANTAMANTO, and this is not the first time. My question is, can the Ghana Fire Service be proactive for once? Can they be proactive for once? Because now they are saying they should halt the reconstruction and then allow them to have a proper plan for the market's construction, and then know where to really place, and also have some kind of intervals so in case of emergencies they can come in. But why should we wait for things like this to happen before we come out with solutions?
But the situation too is that the market is a very big, crowded place. I mean, we've all been to KANTAMANTO every now and then. And it would not even, if we are being realistic, it would not be feasible to come and tell these people, come out, take all your stuff, go and park somewhere, sit somewhere, let us rebuild the place. So, fine, this happening, sometimes everybody says we should always look for the silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. So yes, this dark cloud is over us now. And then, but still there's a silver lining, which is that we can now use this as an opportunity to rebuild and then do the necessary things. On Tuesday, we had the divisional officer here with us, Mr. Desmond Aka, who was also telling us, he was even making a comparison of the Kaneshi market, that now the way it has been rebuilt and made, they have precautions put in place for fire safety. So if they are saying this, my concern would even be that how quickly can we do this? How, and then where, these people also have their wares. They need to go back into business. This is somebody's livelihood. So where would they be for the meantime, for the consultations to happen, and then a planning kind of thing goes on where this side of the market, Accra, is reconstructed, planned properly, they put up the shops and things like that. It needs to be done quickly because KANTAMANTO is pretty big. Where are we relocating all these people to while we do all these consultations? And we know Ghanaians and our bureaucracy, it will take a very long time. So that is my concern about it. But it is a very good initiative. The fire service wants to help these people. That
I understand,
they need to put things in place.
They're not being proactive. That is my problem. Because
what exactly is the proactivity you're talking about?
Because we saw in the news in Techiman, something like this happened. The markets went down. And the people were frustrated that when they called the fire service, they said they did not have some equipment. So these are some of the things that keep a lot of people wondering. Because KANTAMANTO, when it happened, a lot of them said when they came there, they didn't see what the fire service were doing. So is it now that the thing has happened that you are now coming to tell us that you need to investigate, you need to help in the layout and other things?
So when the fire service official was here, he mentioned that it was a large fire, and with the way the place was and how the fire even started and everything, they were not even able to investigate because of the materials in the place. It's a lot of wood and things like that. So it was why they had to even go and get some, some equipment from the other fire service stations around to help. So they needed more than, I think, about 5, if not more, to be able to cater to this fire. And the way the fire was going, you can't even handle from just one side. You needed to go all around it. And from the videos we saw, so even he mentioned that, yes, they need help. They are lacking a lot of things. So, yes, the fire service also needs help. But for the issue of proactivity, I think they are being proactive here because these people are already
happened, and this is not the first time.
Yes, but they are saying that
this in about 3 markets.
Yes, and they are saying that they shouldn't rebuild just yet because they started again with wood, and now if they rebuild back to what it looked like previously, if a fire starts again, we're going to be down again. And there's a saying, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, it's insanity. So now they're saying, let us do some consultation. Let us, have some conversation about what equipment and material we can use to rebuild this place and restructure the place in a way that would be safe. So if it means that maybe they will use more concrete instead of wood, they would do the electrical wiring and then prevent people from the illegal tapping that tends to cause these fires, then they do something like that. Then when they restructure as to the ventilation, like you were talking about, spaces, putting up fire hydrants or fire extinguishers and things like that. But the problem is, how quickly can that be done? That is what we should look at, because what they are saying, it is very, very important. If we rebuild and then the fire starts again, another problem.
So, Yara, let me just say this. It's sad that this keep happening. As Mimi was saying, this 2025 alone, I think we have about more than 5 fire instances. Yes. Greater Accra, Volta region also recording some.
Even the north, somewhere up in the north.
Ashanti region also recording, and as he said, Techiman also have this kind of incidents. When you talk about the Kantamanto, it's a business hub, as we all mentioned. The question is, if fire service are saying that these people should HALT reconstruction of the markets, the question you ask, where would they go? Are they having a place for them for the meantime? Because these people's livelihood, that is the only place, it's a source of income. That is the only place they get money to take care of their families. They don't do any government work. They don't do any monthly work that if they should go and sit somewhere, someone will pay them at the end of the month. So these are the issues that we should take a critical look at. And you see, some even of our mothers lost their life because of shocks of their items getting burned and stuff. Yesterday in an interview, one of the women said they have a woman, let's say a coordinator, who used to take their monies, all the women's money, and keep it. According to her, she doesn't send the money home. It was in her shop, and the money got burnt. So they were just in the market, and the woman just had heart attack. They rushed her to the hospital, and this woman did not survive. So you could see the instances that we are getting from this Kantamanto fire outbreak. Someone is alone. And so these are the things that, in terms of our business, the government, the municipal assemblies, the various agencies need to come together. So before even these people started reconstruction, I believe the fire service, as they are saying, or all agencies, they should have had a meeting. They should have. You shouldn't wait for them to start reconstruction before I did go to say something. You shouldn't wait for them to start reconstruction before you sit on air. It was an interview that person had with one of the media houses, and you sit on air to say, I don't know, well, maybe they have had a communication with the leadership of Kantamanto, I can't tell. But if that communication was not done, and you sit on air to say that they should HALT reconstruction, people will be like, you take monthly salary. I don't do that. So all these steps should have been done. Just after you quench the fire in any other way, you have different departments. So let the other department take over.
Exactly.
Now we've not gotten even the cause of the fire yet. We've not gotten it. So as at now, as Mimi was saying, they should be proactive in it. As at now, it's more than a week, getting to 2 weeks about this incident happened. So at least within 3 days, we should have gotten the cause of the fire. So because if you know the cause of the fire, that is when you know the solution or the preventive measure. But if you don't know the cause, what is the solution you're going to give? Now you've not told the customer or the country the cause of this fire. Now you are telling them we should stop reconstruction. As you are saying, how long?
They have needs.
How long? And I understand them, because one, as you are saying, they are using wood again. And we know how wood is very flammable. So you can just in as much as I would say some for our women, I would equally say that they should also.
We had men also there.
Yes. Exactly. I would also say that they should check what they are using in the reconstruction, because this kind of wood, anything can happen.
So in this situation now, then the fire service officials shouldn't just sit and make suggestions or recommendations. They should rather seek out I think Kantamanto has some leadership.
Yeah, they have leadership.
And then, or even with the government, and then start doing something. Maybe, there are so many architects. Draw a plan quickly. All of this could be done within a few days, so that the needed things would. But then also, the reason I was saying it will take long is that the budgeting for materials and things like that. So it is something that may stretch. So if this is what fire service is saying, and it does make sense, then we need to find an alternative for them for the meantime, so that this reconstruction can be done very quickly, and then they can move back into their shops.
So on the issue of leadership, yesterday I saw a video trending where some of these traders were really, really hurt, and they were sad that apparently some of the leaders have received donations.
Yes, but they
haven't really given anything to them, which is so sad because you, the leaders, you don't, trade with them. You are not there with them. Most of them are somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when the incidents came, they are the leaders, so they
got
took the money. So they should really, pay attention to that and help them in any way they can because they are really suffering. And back to the fire service issue. There are so many markets in Ghana now. So apparently I saw a news that someone is going to install some secret cameras to check if people
even the fire service official mentioned on Tuesday
that if it is intentional, these fire outbreaks are, arson
and these things will require planning. You can't put that in those wooden structures and expect.
So all I'm saying is that the proactiveness comes in here. There are so many existing marketplaces that have not yet been burned down. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. In just a month, we've experienced 5 or even more.
And this is based on the way the market is.
There should be some kind of, I don't know, communication or planning, for these markets
but these things definitely will take time because
we shouldn't assume for them, Yaira.
No, I'm not talking.
It is part of their job. They should do it
for them. It's in the sense that we take the size of the place. Now, how many stalls are there? How many stores are going to be constructed? Let's say they are going to use cement, to do a small shop or make it a story building. You are going to have to count the number of people and then the size because shop A may be bigger than shop B. All these things need to be taken into account. That is why it will take some time. So in this situation, they should find a place for them to start their market again while they start reconstructing quickly because it's happening in Medina. There are markets, the shops are being rebuilt, the people have relocated, they've adjusted, and you can see the structures being put up small. Some of the ready structures, some people have already occupied, but then you can see that it is going on hand in hand. But if we leave them to rebuild again and the fire happens, we're in the dry season. It's till probably April, right?
So in the interim, I can also suggest that, they've started already. So let them continue, but set some precautions for them because I heard a lot of people use, gas cylinders, there is this place in KANTAMANTO. When you pass there, it's like hell. I've never been there before. So apparently they use these hot irons to iron their jeans and other things. That place is full of fire. So they can set some, preventive measures for them and then they can live there till just anything is done.
The main reason why you can see this reconstruction has just started so quickly, it's not because they fear that they will lose the land. When you listen to most of the interview, they fear that private developers will come and take over the land. That is the reason why they are doing all these things. They can decide to wait for the government to put measures in place, but they fear. Because we know in Ghana we've had a lot of instances that they want to use this land for this purpose. At the end of the day, another purpose. So this is the fear of our mothers and our fathers. That's why they've started reconstructing.
It's very easy to just get news that a portion of the land has been sold or is in somebody's will.
So these are all the issues that they.
Okay, so let's take a few comments and then we wrap up. So HM Joe says, good morning, Yaira and co-hosts. Cocoa Digest we can procure. Our invited guest speaker for the presidential inauguration, His Excellency Bola Tinubu, said he's ready to work with our president. So getting liquid fuel from Nigeria to Ghana will be on time. Thank you. Now, Michael Amweni also says, good morning, Clock TV. You're all looking good as always. Give us our cocoa for the weekend. Can you drink it? Now, Godfred Adams says, I think our markets need proper planning when it comes to safety from unforeseen events. But then again, the Ghana National Fire Service should have a plan for markets in general, no matter the layout. Thank you so much for your comments. Please do keep them coming in as well. So it boils back down to planning and not just saying, but you see, they call it talk na do, right? So you say something, you do something. So we hope that the Ghana National Fire Service will also take up some initiatives and then, be proactive, as my co-hosts have been saying. So we are expecting to see some proactivity. Yes, so this brings us to the end of the online news review. Thank you so much once again for joining me here. And up next is the business segment with Clement Yabankwe. He'll be taking us through our stock markets and all the money matters. Do stay tuned.